Hi, my name is Jim Byrne, Principal Systems Engineer for Data Pivot Technologies. Today we're going to be going over VM Restore as part of our Commvault 101 series. If you have any questions about this video today, feel free to reach me at contact@datapivottech.com. And as always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can get more great content just like this. All right, so the first thing I like to do when I do these demos is just give a quick overview of the environment so you guys can see what we're doing in the video, so you get a visual representation in your head while this whole thing's playing out. So we have two sites here. We have Andover and Pomfret, and over in Andover we have a CommServe, and there's a VMware environment, physical environment, and we have a media agent backing all this stuff up. And then we replicated off-site to another media agent over here in Pomfret, and I've got VMware over here, Acropolis from Nutanix, and I've got some physical servers. Now in today's video, what we're going to do is we're going to be concentrating on VMware. So what I like to do, because a lot of you watching this probably don't know much about VMs, so I'm just going to give a quick overview of a VM, what it's composed of, so you know what you're doing while you're doing the restore. And the four scenarios I'm going to go over is how to restore a file that makes up a VM, like a VMDK file or a CTX file, something like that. How to restore files that are sitting inside a VM. That's what you usually see, like if you're doing a virtual desktop, like a file on somebody's desktop or a configuration file within a VM, something like that. Then we're also going to go over how to do a full VM restore to restore the whole thing because it got corrupted or deleted or something happened to it. And then the other thing I'm going to show you too is how you can restore a disk that's sitting on one VM. Maybe you want a copy of that in another VM. This is something people in dev like to do. So I'll go over that too. So we're going to go over these four things in this video. All right, with that said, let's get started here. Let's jump into the lab. And here we have the Data Pivot lab. And this is Commvault. This is the dashboard you get in when you log in. But before we get started, let's just take a quick peek at a VM. And the one I'm going to be playing around with today is the admin console that I use in the lab. And the admin console is sitting on two data stores. And where all the configuration files and stuff are located is on this disk here. Now, these data stores, if you look at a VMware environment, you'll see a whole bunch of them. But if you click on each VM and you click over here on data stores, it'll just show you which ones it's using for that VM. So let's go take a look in here. Now, I know that this particular VM, most of it lives on HDD1, so that's where I'm going to show you. Now, the first thing you're going to notice when you get into this data store, you see all these folders. Those are the VMs. You notice the names of them. So here's the one we're looking at right here. So when I click on admin 2, these are the actual files that make up the VM. And I've heard people say this many times. What's a VM? A VM is really just a collection of files. That's all it is. And sometimes somebody may ask you for one of these files. It's pretty rare, not too often, but somebody may ask you for something, like maybe they want a log or something like that. So I'll show you how to restore one of these to like a media agent, so you can go through and give it to them. Maybe they want one of these log files, or who knows. And it might be part of a root cause analysis or something that they want. All right, so with that said, let's go jump into Commvault here, and I'll go over the configuration that I have. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go in here and we're going to go to Protect. I'm going to go to Virtualization. And this is a lab, so there's a lot going on. There's stuff being set up and torn down all the time. So what I do is I have some VM groups that I've set up, and there's one here, I call it prod, and I've got my sample VMs in there that I like to show. So I've got this group here. So when I go into this group, I have 10 VMs in it. And for this group, you can see over here the recover points. This is when it was run. So what I'm going to do is I want to actually drill into the VM that I want. So I'm going to click here, go to Protected, and then it's just going to list my VMs out. And here's the VM I want to look at. So we'll click on admin 2. And once you get into your VM, you can go in here, and these are the backups just for this guy. So like I'm going to stay with the most recent one that I have here on the 8th, and I'm going to click Restore. And what's nice with Commvault, depending on the hypervisor you're using, they have different features for different hypervisors. Maybe you're using KVM or Hyper-V or VMware. So when you go in, based upon what hypervisor you're using, these are the restore types you can do. And as I was showing in the little PowerPoint, we're going to go over guest file restores, virtual machine restores, how to attach a disk, and the full machine. These two down here I'll be doing in another video. Live recovery is for when you want to restore something, like say it's part of a DR test. There's some configuration with this. It's important to go over it. I'll show you how to do it. But what it does, it allows you to restore a VM, boot it up out of the backup storage so it's live, and then you can be restoring it. And then once it's restored, it vMotions into the ESX host and comes online. So it's really good if you have a VM that's kind of big. Maybe it would take like an hour to restore it, say, but it would be up and running and users can be using it. It might be a little slow because it's in the middle of being restored, but it's usable. And then live mount, this is what you use when you're doing like a DR test, so you can actually boot VMs right out of the backup storage to make sure that they're good. So we're going to be up in here today. We're going to be on these 4 items here. So the first thing I had just showed you when we were over here in this ESX environment, these files, we're going to do that first. So let's take a look at some virtual machine files. Click here. And Commvault goes through and it goes into the backup, indexes them, and shows you what's there. So here we go. So this is what's in there. See, like it says, log 23, 24, 25, 26. And if I look over here, there they are. So let's say somebody's, for whatever reason, they want this log file. And we're going to go grab number 26. So I click on that and go up to my restore button here. And the access node, these are one of your media agents. I'm going to put it on M2. And the path I'm going to pick, you can just click browse and it's going to log into the media agent. And I'm going to put it in the temp directory right here. And then I'm going to say save. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to grab this VMware log file. I'm going to put it on my media agent M2. It's a Linux box. And I'm going to throw it in the /temp directory. So now I'm going to click submit. And it'll go through, it'll gather what it needs and start the job. And you can, if you're quick, you can get up here and click view jobs. And here's the job. And it just started. And this is going to go pretty quick because it's just a little teeny file. So it's just a matter of Commvault setting the job up and doing the restore. So what I'm going to do is get over here to M2. And I opened this ahead of time to save some time. So this is the media agent. And there's the file right there, VMware 26.log. So it's already done. If I go over to this job, it's completed. Yeah, so it's already done. It's just setting up the, finishing up the job. And you can see that was a little one. But that's it. So that gives you the ability to go ahead and restore just a file if somebody asks it. All right, so what I'm going to do now is let's go back to here. So we've done this. Let's go and go like we're going to go get a guest file. This you'll probably do a lot. So let's click this. Now Commvault, what it's going to do is it's going to grab the image for this administrator box. This is a Windows machine. And it's going to go through, do an index on it. So you're going to see the C drive, the E drive, and all that stuff. And when this thing they say here that says browsing contents may take some time, please wait. It can take some time. Normally for a VM, a typical VM, it might take up to like a minute. Commvault does have the ability to pre-index VMs if you need it. And the one application I've seen people use that for is they'll have a VM that they're using for as a NAS filer, and you might have 400,000 files on it. I mean, if you're sitting here waiting for 400,000 files, that's going to take a while. So this is going to just take another few seconds to go through, and to bring that up. And while that's running, I'm just going to duplicate this window. Okay, I'm going to let this sit over here. I'm going to come back to it. So I'm just going to let it sit here and do its thing. All right, so let's go here. And I'm going to go back to admin 2. Go to restore. Oh, there it goes. That's the old adage of not waiting for a pot of water to boil. So it went through and indexed it for us. So let me go back over here. And let's see what I got over here in the F drive I could take a look at. Oh, is this a config file that I can use? There's nothing in it. Oh, I've got some DR files I can use. Let me just grab one of these. All right, so here's a command file, .txt. Now, Commvault went through, indexed this off the VM. I'm going to go here and do a restore. Now, what's interesting, when you do a restore, there's no agent on here to talk to, so you're actually logging into the VM. So what you need to do is put in a user account so you can get in. So it's the user account on the admin machine that I'm doing. So I'm going to put in the administrator account. I'm going to put in the password. And then for the destination, I'm going to click here. Now, it actually logged into the VM is what it did. It's just like if you went in through an R desktop or something. And I'm going to go ahead and just go here. I'm going to put it on the C drive just to put it somewhere different. And I'll go into the user accounts. And I'm the administrator, so I'll go here. And I'm going to put it on the desktop. And I'll hit save. So that's where I'm going to put this thing. It's going to go right on the desktop. That's the machine that I'm on right now. And I'm going to go ahead and submit this. And again, we'll be quick. Click on the jobs. All right, so now we have the job running. And it doesn't take too long to do this. And if I go to my desktop, and we keep our eyes peeled, it should show up right here. It was called commandfile.txt. Okay, it's done. And right there. So that's the command file I just restored. So that's all there is to that, and the job just completed successfully. I just got that in my screen here. All right, so let me maximize this again. And we'll go back to the restore screen. All right, so now just going right through our screen here, we've done this. We showed how to restore a file. We showed how to restore a VM. Let's do this. Now this is kind of interesting. What this will do is I can actually take a disk from one machine and attach it to another. So just for fun, I'm going to grab, I've got a few disks here. I'm going to grab this one here. I'm not going to wait for this because this will take a while. But what I will show you is what it looks like inside of VMware while it's running. So I'm going to say restore this drive. And I'm not going to put it back on the original machine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go put it somewhere else. So the destination machine, I'm going to click Browse. And what this does is it's actually logged into my vCenter environment. And let's see, where do you want to put this thing? I'll put it on, oh, I know where I'll put it. I'm not doing anything with these right now. I've got a couple of old Exchange servers. I'll just put it here. It's not really going to mount it. I'm just going to start the process so you can see it. So I'm going to put it on eExchange 1, and that's the drive it's going to go to. And then I'm going to hit submit. And then get up here, click on this before it goes away. And there it is. So now this is started. Now there is some setup and teardown. It's going to have to chat with vCenter to get everything all lined up. So let me hop over here to vCenter, and we should see some activity start pretty quick here. So let me scroll down and find that Exchange server. I think I put it right here. So this is where it's going to go. And it takes a little while for this to get going. See, now it's starting to do some reconfiguring. It actually creates a VM temporarily called Exchange GX Backup. And what it's doing is it's actually restoring a drive here. It's pretty cool. So it's going to put that big drive that we had restored. It'll restore it here, and then when it's done, it'll move it over here and attach it. So it's pretty neat how that does that. Now, what's also good with Commvault, let's say you change your mind like we're going to do right now, because I don't want to wait for this to restore, but like let's say you didn't want to do it, you wanted to back out. If you go back over here to the job screen, if I go up here and I kill this, it'll go through. See how it says kill pending? Commvault's smart. It's recorded what it's done to your ESX environment. So if you look over here and you just wait a minute, it will go through and get rid of this. So it'll tear this down and delete it. It won't just leave this hanging here, cluttering up your environment. It'll actually go through and get rid of it. So if we just wait here for a second, we'll see some chatter come over, and this will get deleted. There it goes. See, it's gone. So it cleaned itself up. All right, so that's done. So that's attaching one disk from one machine to another. And just to go over that, the machine that I had pulled it from was up here. I grabbed a disk off of this VM here. I have 2 disks. And let me go in here and I'll just show you what this looks like real quick. So you have multiple disks here, and I went in and restored one of these disks over to that Exchange VM that was down here. And I put it on this one. So that can be kind of handy. Like if developers may ask you to do that, they may have files that they're working on one machine, and maybe they want you to put it over onto another machine. All right, let's get back here. So we've done this. Now we're going to do a full machine restore. And you can also use this to make a clone. And I'm going to do that here just so you can see what it looks like. So here we're going to do a full machine restore. So here's the machine. You don't get many options here. You're just going to get the whole thing. And you can pick in place or you can pick out of place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out of place. And it's going to go to my vCenter environment. And the display name, I'm just going to give it a lot of times what I do is I just put a T in here for temporary. Now the destination host, I'm going to click browse. This is going to go connect over to my vCenter environment, and I can pick any host I want to go to. I'll just pick this one here. And then you can go and pick the VM folder where you want it to go. You can pick your network settings. So I can add a network setting if I want. So I can pick what network I want to, maybe I want to put it on my 192.168.8 network. And you can power it on when you're done. You can unconditionally overwrite if you like, if you just come and replace it. Normally I don't do that because sometimes the corrupt VM is, you might as well hold on to it because the one you restore may not be any better. So I very, very rare I ever overwrite anything. And the disk provisioning, you can pick, thin, thick, whatever you like. And then the transport mode, you can, go via hot add, NAS backup mode, or whatever mode you want. I usually just leave it on auto, and Commvault will go through and figure out the best. So I've given another name here. I'm going to click submit. And we had put this over on host ESX3. So I'm going to view the job. And I'm not going to wait for this because this is a big VM. It's got a lot of stuff on it. So the restore has started. And if I go over here, see ESX3, it's already started to do it. So it's getting ready to go. See, there's the name of it right there. And there's the VM. It created it. So it actually kicks it off pretty darn fast. So we've already started doing the restore. It's building out the disks, and it's getting ready to start restoring. And let me get back over here. I'm going to cancel this. Just like before when we were playing around with the with adding disks, I can go here and I'll say kill. and then it'll say kill pending. And what that means is it's going to go and back out all of its changes and clean up. So it's not going to leave a bunch of junk out here orphaned. So if you hang out here for just a little bit, it goes through, reconfigures, and in a second or two, you'll see this guy here get deleted, just like we had before. So I'm not gonna wait for it because I know it's gonna work. I just showed you that with that disk we had deleted. All right, so let's get back to our restores. All right, so back to our main screen here. So in the video, I've showed you how to restore a file, like that's on the desktop. We've gone through how to restore individual little pieces and parts of a VM, the VM files. Showed you how to restore just a disk to another machine, and how to restore a full machine. So these are the four that you're going to get the most of the time in a ticket, are these here. And I'll be doing some other videos in the future for these down here. Keep your eyes peeled for those. Okay, and with that said, let me just jump back to my main slide here. And again, these are what we covered today. And as always, if there's any questions you have about what I've talked about in this video, you can feel free to reach us at contact@datapivottech.com. We'll be glad to help you out. And as always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a like. That helps us out. All right, thank you. And I hope you've found this video very useful.